Okay, Jeff Grubb, Games Beat, and I am here to talk about the Razer Ripsaw capture card. I will embed at this point some better footage of it up close. What this is a way to record your gameplay from a console, or basically any hardware that features an HDMI component out, a variety of outputs. You could use this with a PC if you would prefer a hardware solution over a software solution. Mostly, I've been using it with my Wii U, my PlayStation 4, that's the right one, and my Xbox One. And I just come away so happy with it. It is an excellent device. The big thing here is that it's compact, it's USB 3.0, and it just has a ton of power user features. I want to go over it, and I kind of want to. This is not me just explaining the device. This is me endorsing it to a point. I just want to stay up front. I think if you're in the market for a new capture card, this is the one you should be considering, I think, at this point. Now, to be fair, I want to make this clear. I don't have a lot of experience with Elgato. I've used it a little bit, but I don't have any huge first-person experience with it. What I understand is it's a very good device, does HD 1080p 60 frames per second, which is what a lot of people want from their footage. This does that as well. It does it in a smaller package, and it does it without one key thing. This does it without audio desync or a visual delay. So what that means is I have a Hopog. That's what I've been using for my console gameplay recordings up to this point. I think that's how I say it. I'm probably saying that so wrong, Hopog. I never heard it said out loud. I've only read it. I think that's correct. So my Hopog, what happens is when I get it, I plug in my gameplay, and when I get that footage into my PC from the Hopog, I could see it in XSplit, which is the software I use, or OBS. OBS had some problems with Hopog. But if you see it in XSplit or Hopog or OBS, there's a delay between the action happening, in reality on my console, on my television screen, and when it gets to the computer. Now, this isn't a huge issue, but what it does cause problems with is audio. If I am recording a simultaneous voiceover, to put up, my comments, live online, or even a live stream, there's a delay. I'll say something, and then the thing I am referring to in the game happens 1-2 seconds later. It's very annoying, it's very frustrating, people hate watching that. So what you have to do is you have to fudge it. You go into XSplit, and when you go into XSplit, you can delay the audio from the microphone, but what happens here is then you have to deal with the fact that the audio is delayed, and then if you want to bring in your video feed, if I use my camera and you see my face is moving over here, and then the audio isn't coming until 1 or 2 seconds later, which is even worse. That's not acceptable. So a lot of times you can't even bring in your video feed, or you have to do this in post and edit it, and that's just a huge frustration. Razer Ripsaw solves that. It is USB 3.0, and it just kicks ass in terms of bandwidth. What happens is the bandwidth is just so broad here on the USB 3.0 connection, which also powers it, so there's no external power connector at all. It's powered over USB 3.0. But what that bandwidth enables it to do is almost instantly show the video up on your screen. How quick does it appear on your screen? Here's how quick. I wasn't looking at my TV or the Wii U gamepad when I was playing Mario Kart 8 or Super Mario Maker. I was looking at the video feed, the monitor in XSplit on my computer, and it worked like a secondary monitor. It was that fast. It was that rapid. Now, it's not instantaneous. There's a slight delay, but it's so microscopic. Now, you're not going to play a fighting game that way, but if you're going to be, if you need a screen off to the side to monitor what you're doing because your TV is in use for something else, this is a viable solution for most games. I didn't have any problems with Hitman. I didn't have any problems with Super Mario Maker or Mario Kart 8, which are the three I tried most recently, and I tried this method with it of streaming it to my screen and playing it on the screen. Hitman's kind of a action-adventure game. You don't have to have super great reflexes for that, but Mario Kart 8, I was playing 200cc, a super fast, almost like F-Zero-like experience, and I had no issues, at least none that I noticed. I didn't finish in first or anything, but I was able to respond to what was happening in the game on time, and it just felt like everything was going as fast as my reflexes could handle, which is kind of all I ask. Now, I think that's the major selling point of the Ripsaw. You're just not going to have any more audio desync issues. You're just not going to have that hassle anymore. And it's nice to also have that in a compact USB, card. This is something I don't have to install in my, my desktop that I'm looking at right now. This is something I can have upstairs if I need it. I can also take it downstairs, connect it to a laptop. I can take it on the go, and it's a viable solution for recording on the go. It's not the most portable. There are more portable solutions that just record right to an SD card or whatever and don't require a laptop. This requires a connection to a PC to record. There's no like SD card slot or you can't connect a USB or a USB like hard drive to this. That's not going to work. But it's small, compact. It powers over USB. This means it is viable in many circumstances for recording on the go. And that's just, one of the huge benefits of going USB 3.0. Now that I've kind of harped on that a lot, I want to touch on some of the other things that I really like. In terms of in terms of its size, that's great. It has several ports on the back. I'm gonna try to get them up there again. I might splice in some better video here. This is the USB 3.0 port. It is a proprietary input. It's not just you can't just plug any USB 3.0 cable in here. I think that they probably do this so that you can't go and just plug in a USB 2.0 cord and then you call up Razer support and say, hey, why isn't my Ripsaw working? They want you to use their cord. I will say one of the shortcomings real quick, I'll touch on this a little bit more later. The USB 3.0 cord they provide, very short. That's a problem for me. Okay, let's keep going on the inputs here. You got the HDMI slots in and out. I don't know which one's which. It's hard to read, actually. That's another complaint. The text is a little bit hard to read unless you get really good light on it. And here's the component in. It comes with all the cords you need to connect any legacy console. So HDMI is good to go for your modern day HD consoles. Then you have the component input, and it comes with the adapters for your Super Nintendo, your Atari Jaguar, if anyone's streaming that stuff. So it's ready to go for all that stuff. You don't need to worry about it. It comes out of the box ready to work with those consoles. You don't need anything extra. Let's see. On the front, we have two more inputs. This is a microphone in and an auxiliary in. This is for all you professional audio heads out there. Clearly not me. I'm on my Blue Snowball. I'll run a compression setting on this in Audacity and then I'll be done. But for you folk out there who obsess over, just the top sound and you have your hardware compressor and your top of the line, Audio Technica mic, and you have your whole setup and you know exactly what you want, and you have all your knobs that you want to be dealing with while you're recording, and you have the monitor right there and you know what everything means, you can plug it right into there and you can get your live, high quality, studio quality audio built right into the video stream. So it's here's your input, and you can control it so that it goes right and becomes a part of the video itself, which just reduces the load on your PC. You don't have to control that on your PC. You don't have to bring that audio feed in using software on the desktop. It can all be done right here in hardware. The auxiliary, the same thing. You can plug in your soundboard. You can plug in an iPod and have music queued up that you just hit the button and have it go. You can have sound effects queued up, hit the button, have it go, and that it'll just be built right into the video feed. Now that's not going to be everyone's thing. I do like kind of having a separate video feed that I can mess around with later, but I know there's a lot of people that just want this professional option, and it's there for you. And again, it's so tiny, small, out of the way. You can set it aside, ready to go. It doesn't take up a lot of room. It doesn't have that power cord, which I really do hate about the capture card I have been using. So it's just kind of a clean, easy to use package. I guess finally, while my phone's blowing up here, trying to see if there's anything else. Let me just show you the box real quick. Here's what it comes with. Inside there's the extra cables for the component and the legacy console setup. I think I want to go touch on just those negatives again. So I've told you what I like. The drawbacks are that short USB 3.0 cable. The cable that came with the Hapag was also not proprietary, but it was one of those like old printer style cables with the square input on one side and then the USB rectangle on the other side. It was very long, which enabled me to drag have my consoles all stay in my entertainment center, and then I could drag that cable across the room, plug it into my laptop, and get set up in a chair across the room. I appreciate that. Now, with this one, that short USB cable, it's about, I'm going to be generous, I'm going to say 3 feet. It might be longer. It could be 4 to 5 feet, but it's not 10 feet. I don't know if that's inherent to USB 3.0, where it needs a short cable to maintain that level of bandwidth. It might be that. I can tell you for sure, most of the extender solutions you might be thinking of in your head aren't going to work. Because if you degrade that USB 3.0 signal at all, it's just you're going to lose quality. You're going to lose, you might lose 1080p, you might lose 60 frames per second, and you might certainly introduce quite a bit of latency, which is just going to defeat the purpose of this device. Other negatives, again, it's hard to read the text, but once you do, you can I'm trying to get it to so you could see it. Once you do see it, once you have it set up, that doesn't matter a ton, but it is just difficult to read at first, and you have to go turn on the light and get it to reflect it just away so that the text is actually visible. Like, right? Okay. Yeah, I could just see now that this one's in and this one's out. Other negatives. This is not fair, but I do wish it did have an SD card slot for recording on the go. That's not fair because, it's being charged over USB 3.0, and I'm pretty sure that if you also had it recording, it might also introduce some problems instead of, recording to the hard drive. But it's just something that, man, if it just had that, this would be the perfect device. That would probably also increase the price quite a bit. So I think my understanding is this is selling now for $180. That's a pretty decent price. That's kind of where all the top-of-the-line USB solutions for this problem are. The HD Pro from Elgato, and I think the similar name, like the gaming edition HD2 Pro from Hapag, are all kind of in that range, $150 to $200. I think, though, if you are interested in a USB solution, if you're not putting a PCI Express or whatever the hell it is in your built into your desktop, which does have some benefits, it is capable of a few other things. But this is just so much more versatile, usable in more situations. I think this is what most people are going to want, and it's also a good price. So I think this is the one you should probably be considering. I'm super happy I got one. I'm going to have it set up all the time now. All my recordings are going to be going through this for at least for consoles, and I think for virtual reality, I'm going to start trying out a hardware solution as opposed to doing a direct, as opposed to just doing a direct software recording method for that. I'm going to see how that works out. Hardware might introduce some other problems, but we'll see. We'll see how that goes. Okay, so I think that's going to wrap it up. For these reviews, I don't do a number score. I only do that for games, for software. For games, not all software. So for hardware, I usually just do I suggest it or not? And clearly I do. I recommend it. If you're in the market for one of these, this is the one I recommend. Go for it. Get it. I will also hesitate and say, if you are not sure about, whether or not this is going to be worth it, Razer does have an occasional reputation for building hardware that falls apart. It's infamous at fighting game tournaments. People's fighting sticks stop working. It's infamous for those kinds of problems. I've had a lot of Razer devices. I had a Razer laptop for a little while. It worked fine the entire time I had it. No issues. It's actually one of the best laptops I've ever had, I could say without a doubt. Right now I'm testing their Razer Blade Stealth. Again, a very good laptop. The trackpad's not my favorite, but it's not because it's breaking or anything. I haven't had that for long enough time to make any opinions one way or the other. But I do know people have problem with Razer in terms of their build quality. I'll say that this feels solid. This feels like it's going to last. I don't know how much that means in the long run. It could, who knows? It might fall apart, but it hasn't so far. It seems solid, and I think I feel comfortable recommending it. And if you start hearing horror stories, well, then come back and yell at me. Or if you start experiencing them themselves, then you can come and just make sure I know that it was all my fault. Okay, I think that's going to wrap it up. Hopefully, I should have spliced a bunch of footage that I recorded using this throughout this video, so you got a good idea of what the end result looks like. Let me know what you think. Let me know if you have any questions. I didn't cover this front indicator light because it's kind of a simple thing. It works with OBS XSplit. It just tells you whether or not it's ready to go or not. I think a lot of the other devices have that. But yeah, so I just, like, if you have questions, if you want to know what this thing does, how it works, what circumstances it's best in, get at me in the comments. Get at me on gamesbeat.com or get at me on Twitter, Jeff Grubb. Just, like it sounds, JEFFGRUBB. Okay, guys, that's going to do it. Thank you for watching. Say goodbye to Goomba over here, and I'll catch you next time.